who are, of course, well, single admin who is a little bit over his head with all the players and
Yeah, it's tough.
streams trying to organize what's going on. But I have maybe got that game available. I'll try and let you know shortly. I think we're going to be jumping into that unless something pops up. But we'll, of course, we'll see Jack G play a little game or two.
That would be nice. I like to see Jack G here in the European scene. We're actually very fortunate to have Jack G over here in the scene because there was that period where yes, he won a GSL a long time ago, and then we didn't really hear too much from him. But he's kind of his resurgence has begun. He is here to try and perform very well. He's already qualified for Sao Paulo, which we'll be casting in a few weeks' time. And now he looks to qualify for Cologne, which is just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Switzerland, really. It's not the same distance as Brazil, but it's just as luxurious, I imagine.
Okay, so the game we are going to jump into is Kane versus Bly then.
Ah, nice.
So we will jump into that. Because the Jack G game's about to start, and I think that may be a little bit one-sided.
Maybe. Hi. Okay.
Okay, so, all right. So we're going to have this Kane versus Bly game. Best of 3, of course. Let me just... Yeah, you've asked the map order. This should be good.
Okay, so Frost is our first map, and then we're just trying to confirm which ones are the next. Revolver was Kane's previous opponent, because he's in the lobby as well. So he wants to watch along. Not sure Bly's pick next. So, okay, so that means that Frost was Kane's pick here for ZVZ. So wanting to play with a little bit of a bigger map here.
Have you managed to check out many ZVZs?
As of late, yes, and we're still in the muter versus muter thing for a lot of it, I feel, especially in the European scene. Have you been able to watch too much?
Yeah, I've watched quite a bit, played quite a bit as well. It's very similar to how it always has been, to be honest. There's the standard openings that we see quite often, whether it be the 9 pool, the 8 pool, the Baneling first, the Zergling speed builds. There's a lot of different openings to start with. Then it usually goes into the phase of who gains an advantage versus who doesn't, whether the early aggression was successful or not. If it's equal, then some players like to take risks and try to gain an advantage. Some players like to go up to Mulus. Some players do still play Queen double evolution chamber. I was going to say double forge, double evolution chamber for double upgrades. There's actually quite a few different styles still available to play. On a map like Frost, I'd be expecting probably, I mean, the most likely play is Roach heavy once again. But of course, it really depends on player style. Maybe they do prefer Mulus, maybe they do want to use Mulus. Towards the later stage of the game, especially because once you do upgrade or go for Roaches, you upgrade Roaches, which of course share the same upgrades as Swarm hosts. And they have been coming out quite a lot recently in the games I have seen and played myself. And that could be something we see here today between these two players. But to be honest, I haven't seen Kane or Bly play a Zerg versus Zerg. So I'm interested to see what they both use today.
I think there's two interesting things I've seen recently in ZVZ, which is one, predominantly on Frost, if you get lucky with your earlier Overlord scout, and you somehow, if your opponent goes hatchery first, for example, you can try and wiggle in there with the Overlord, see if there is actually gas, and maybe take advantage on that if there is no gas. And then the second thing that I saw that was quite interesting, I think it might have been during Pro League, was a heavy Queen Roach style with Nidusworm against an opponent that he felt was really going to go Mutalist.
Yeah, this is something which TLO has done many a time, trying to go for these kind of timings. They do work. I think another player that's used it quite a lot in the Korean scene would be a player like Symbol. So there's definitely a lot of different branches you can go down when trying to play Zerg versus Zerg for sure. Of course, Bly is kind of a veteran in the European scene, has been around forever. The Ukrainian Zerg player who's been traveling to many different tournaments, whether it be Intel Extreme Masters, Dream Hacks, Home Story Cups. You've seen him a lot in these tournaments. But Kane, on the other hand, when it comes to the European tournaments, hasn't really been in Europe that long. Is working, living, playing with the My Insanity team in Switzerland, and is trying to make it work over here. He's obviously a very successful North American Zerg player, now come to the European scene. Is he going to be able to qualify for one of the premier tournaments in Europe here? Of course, the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne, which is happening in the next few weeks' time. And he goes up against this veteran in Bly who's been to a DreamHack final before.
Yeah,
He's been to multiple, round of 16 top 8 finishes across various different European tournaments.
It was Bucharest, wasn't it?
Yeah, last year.
And Nurture was in the finals.
That's right.
Yeah. That was a tough draw for him. Nurture was really good in ZVZ. But anyway, guys, we can jump into game number 1 now, as we have our ZVZ underway. Cross positions here on Frost, so way harder to scout out with that initial Overlord. As we have spawning up to the top right, Mr. MI Insanity's Kane, and down to the bottom left-hand corner, we have Acer Bly.
Acer Bly, of course, in the voted most dominant, successful, popular, however you want to call it, team of 2013, Team Acer, who battled out against the likes of Team Liquid and Evil Geniuses, and they were voted up there, and they absolutely should have been. They were dominant within the leagues that they played.
Oh, yeah.
A fantastic lineup with the likes of Innovation and MMA and Scarlet. Fantastic team. And as we see, we have Bly, who's opened up with the Temple here. Playing aggressive from the get-go on Frost. What is Kane going to do?
Kane, a previous StarCraft America champion, and one of the best that America has to offer, to be honest with you. And now, obviously, living in Europe and trying to make it here. And, you know, for some of the American players, that could be a wide... I think Europe has a very, very strong scene right now. Extremely strong. So moving over here to take advantage of that. All good.
And this looks like that Bly is going for the build, as mentioned just now, you know, one of the builds that you could see, which is the fast Baneling build.
Yeah.
He doesn't know where his opponent has spawned, and that Overlord on the right-hand side will give him a bit of information, just kind of telling him that his opponent's on the other side of the map, to the top. But we do have a pull first from Kane, not a hatchery first here, and then we'll be going for his hatchery next. I'm not too sure how this is going to fare. It's obviously going to come down to control like it does a lot in the early stages of a Zerg versus Zerg. Kane hasn't been overly greedy. And to be honest, not getting the gas can work okay for him. It means he's going to have a much more mineral-focused defense, which is actually what you need against this, rather than trying to use gas. Because you're never going to have speed in time to deal with this. You're never going to have Banelings really in time to deal with this. So it's going to be a mineral defense only. Obviously, the gas would help out for the counterattack. To get speed after, to get Banelings after. So he's got the best defense possible, or the best setup to have the best defense possible. And Bly, lucky, has decided to go all the way to the top right.
Well, he spotted the Overlord down to the bottom left. Right, so it's perfect opportunity for him to know exactly where his opponent is.
Kane's seen 6 lings really early out here. This should obviously prompt him to build a lot more and to continue, even build a spine, to be honest, upon seeing the Banelings morph inside his main base. There it is.
Yeah.
He needs to make sure he holds off. As long as he doesn't lose all his drones, he's in fantastic position. That's kind of the key here. He can lose his natural, that's fine.
Yes.
Don't lose your drones, because he's leading by 7 at the moment.
Can be difficult with this amount of Banelings morphing in, but at the same time, he's got to focus properly with his queens and that spine crawler once it ends up popping. Banelings, they kill off all of the Zerglings during that.
Yeah, whoopsie daisy.
Oh, and he was already starting working on that spine crawler. This is a big problem here for Kane, who has to throw down another spine, tries to split up his drones. He's already brought a lot of them low. There's still a lot of Zerglings here.
And the spine's almost finished. And what's the drone count? What's the difference?
Try to get it. He kills 3 workers. The spine does end up falling. Drone count
9.
12 to 9.
He's got 2 hatcheries, remember. The queen does not want to die here. A second one pops out. Great position with that queen. And he should be able to deflect this for now. He doesn't lose the queen. 1 hit point. Oh, that was close.
Super close.
And now he just needs to keep on focusing on minerals. Do not try to tech up here. Just get more drones, more queens. That's going to be the defense here. His Overlord needs to spot his opponent not having a natural.
Yeah. And during all that, the fact that he has the natural himself, it puts him so far ahead now.
Absolutely. And Bly's going to get speed here, and then he's going to take out a gas. He's going to build nothing but Zerglings to try and break him. He knows he has to break him. And like I said, all Kane needs to do, focus on minerals. I wouldn't even take an assimilator. Try to catch back up with your economy. And to be honest, his economy's in really good shape at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
With 2 extra drones, he probably doesn't even need any more drones. This is where the next 150 is a queen on the natural. Exactly right. Queen on the natural now. And to be honest, the next 100 is a spine crawl on the natural. Especially because he's seen his opponent does not have a natural hatchery.
Exactly. These lings have given him such valuable information. And he even sees the spawning pool whirring away, so he knows, hey, speed's on the way. You can't be really investing anywhere else.
I would build another spine here.
Yeah,
All you've got to do is defend the natural. He's just going back to Lava Inject a couple of times with his queens. And he's got his 3rd queen. I still would build another spine.
Yeah, I mean, 6 more drones are on the way here for Bly. I think he realizes, well, my opponent has seen everything that I'm doing now. I can't make this work. If he is reading it as well as he should be doing, I can't make it work, so I have to expand.
Okay. And Kane has not seen the expansion. Did see the drone kind of going down there. Would like to see if the expansion is there or not.
He's going to get it. He's going to see.
Okay, good. So now upon seeing it, he realizes that, yes, the likelihood of Zerglings is still there because you do float a lot of minerals when you have a decent drone count and trying to build Zerglings. But from this position, he was comfortable to skip the second spine, which I would have definitely built to make sure I was safe because that's the only way you can really die. But he got in there. He saw the extra gas being taken. He's seen the drone count is nice and high, which means Kane builds 9 drones, or however many. Okay, that's
a lot of drones.
A lot of drones. He will want to go up to as many as possible. Yeah. Double evolution chamber, and Kane is in a fantastic position to win this game as long as he doesn't make any really crucial mistakes. Because what we'll see, 2 upgrades come out. Probably Roach upgrades. I'd be surprised if you went Zerglings. You don't really need Zerglings. 2 Roach upgrades coming out. Drone all the way up till he gets full saturation across 2 bases. Throw down the Roach Warren soonish, just in case there is an attack. Get Roach speed, and just go over the other side and kill him.
Exactly. There's almost nothing that Bly can do here with the lack of income that he has. I mean, only just now his natural has popped. Yes, he's getting layer himself. I won't be surprised if Bly tried to get Mutalisks out somehow, some way.
Yeah,
but
he's got to take a risk in some choice that he's going to go for here.
Exactly.
Whatever that is. I don't know what it is, but I mean, the choices that he has present, I suppose, is Mutalisks because he hasn't started Evolution Chambers. And to be honest, I think that's kind of the only thing he could go for.
Yeah, it's...
I mean, if he tries to go Roach or Hydras, he doesn't have the upgrades, he doesn't have the economy to keep up with Kane, who would be going for that anyway. So I guess Mulis is really the only thing he can do in this position. And that's probably what we'll see the Spire come down, as you say.
Yeah, it's a difficult position here for Bly. I mean, Bly... 100%, 200% even. Let's go 200%. He knows how far he is behind, so he's somehow got to eke this out. But Kane, equally, he knows. So he's actually sending out a drone for a 3rd base, because, I mean, why not? He's so well established right now.
All you've got to do in this position is, Kane, is build a lot of roaches. It's kind of simple from this position, because your opponent just doesn't really have a lot to deal with it. And to be honest, I mean, if he just keeps on building roaches, does not allow anything to break his natural wings or whatever, even if Mulis come out, there won't be enough of them, I fear, to push back the roaches. And through that time of having to deal with the high roach count, which we're probably going to see out from Kane, we will see some kind of anti-air thrown down, whether it be the Hydralisk down or Infestation Pit, and it is the Infestation Pit chosen, as the Overseer does go in.
Poke. And there's
the Spire, so he knows exactly what his opponent's doing. So just build up a lot of units here, and well, you know what to do.
Crush, man, crush. It's gonna be difficult here for Bly. Has to make miracles where he can. I mean, Zerglings have poked forwards, and they saw the 3rd base. But aside from that, he also saw the Roach count as well, with +1 finishing, and even the Gliria Constitution about to finish as well. Kane's playing actually really safe, just sitting back, waiting for Pathogen Glands to finish. And
yeah, Spores being put down.
Yeah. But he's fine.
He didn't try to... I mean, a lot of people would have tried to go for the attack here, but he has chosen to build up a few more drones. So he's not going to go challenge the Mutalisk going over there with the roaches. He's actually just going to sit back, get Infestors, and wait for the I can't even get the right name out. The Mutalisk to come to him.
Yeah, a little bit of a run by here with some Zerglings. A few more amassing off the creep here. So Kane doesn't see those just yet. Oh, now he does. But there's really not a whole lot these Lings can do as long as Kane's on his toes.
Yeah. And, Kane still does maintain that lead of his.
Yeah, good queen positioning. Not going to get by at all.
So 13 Mutalisks coming out. They're not really going to be able to do that much in this game.
To be fair to Bly, it's a good number.
Yeah, it's a great number. He was cutting corners left and right to get the Mutalisks to count this high. I mean, Kane could have tried to kill him early on and probably would have succeeded through the corners that were cut.
Yeah, but Blind Turn knew that, so he just tries. He knows that he was at such a disadvantage.
If the Mutalisks can find ways to do damage, then great.
Yeah.
But like I said, the Spores, Infestors,
and
and these are trapped. There's going to be 2 more Fungals available. There's Transfuses available. There's Roaches to support the Queens. One more. Oh, there's no more fungals left. Okay. So he's already picked off 3 or 4 Mutalisks there.
Yeah, very, very nicely done. +1 weapons actually starts for Bly here to like help out these Mutalisks where he can, but I mean, with a few more Infestors coming down, if he wants to get those out as well and them amassing energy from this point on, it's going to be very difficult for Bly to find any angles.
He's building Banelings as well here, and I'm not sure where are they, Banelings?
They're on the right-hand side.
Okay, so what Bly's going to try to do to get back into this game more efficiently is, if these 4 Banelings can detonate into the entire of the mineral line, it slows down his opponent's economy and income quite a bit.
And he's actually going to wiggle on through here.
Wow, nice little move.
Oh, very nicely done.
Nice little move there.
19 kills in total.
Nice move.
And he actually gets the Spore Crawler and leaves his base a little bit vulnerable, but he's got to be careful of the fungal growth. Oh!
He's, you know, you can't argue that. I mean, he has to go for these kind of moves, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he does get out with quite a few of them, but he has to pull these moves off. So he's got to take risks.
You know, for the 5 extra worker kills that he got just then, not too bad, actually. Not too bad there by Bly. But look at the supply counts right now. I mean, Kane, with the Roaches, with the Hydralisks that he's about to get out as well, Bly would be hard-pressed to kill any full-on frontal assault.
Where the Hydralisks, they're about to pop. If he can get one more fungal, they may be out in time.
And he does have energy for that one more fungal.
Oh, where the Hydras,
Very nice. And those Hydras do close the...
if only had one more fungal, every single one of those would have gone down.
Interestingly enough, the Mutalisks did kill off one of the Infestors that did have energy for fungal, so a little bit of a clutch move.
But the big thing is now, what happens when Kane pushes off the map?
Yeah.
I mean, how can you really stop this? And I don't think you can. He doesn't have Baneling speed to connect into the Hydras. He doesn't have a high enough Mutalisk count to stop these +2 attack and +1 carapace Hydralisks either. And there's no way he can counterattack because the Infestors and some units have been left at home. So this could be the nail in the coffin. You look at the supply, 181. Whoop. Oh, missed fungal there.
Yeah, really.
He's challenging the Hydralisks here, and there's not all of them together.
Yeah, that was really strong keeping the distance and tickling away at the Roaches initially, but then, you know, with those numbers, was able to do quite a lot. Still doesn't have energy for fungals. The reinforcing Hydras, as you said, there's not that many of them.
Yeah, but they are more and more coming out. Another 9. The Infestors are going to regenerate energy again soon.
I think for Kane, Muscular Augments can't finish quickly enough. He needs that so he can get those Hydralisks over there to deal with this, but that Mutalisk count is being broken down.
Yeah, and emergency Spine's coming in because he realizes he has to defend this, but Kane, who's been able to really ride an advantage from the very get-go of this game, is looking to finally close this off. It's going to take a long time to kill these Roaches. There's a lot of Hydralisks about to come over. The Infestors are regenerating their energy. Nice moves here from Kane. A decent effort from Bly to try to get back into this one. But it was always going to be very difficult. To be honest, I think a lot of players would say it was almost impossible to come back from this.
Yeah, it's been a long road for Bly and hasn't really come to a point at this time. But I mean, this Great Aspire is now on the way somehow for Bly to try something. But yeah, all downhill from here. It was for quite a while. Bye-bye. Poor little Queen dies off as well. And I mean, the Mutalisks do end up cleaning this up. It's not really the biggest, but there you go. There you go. GG. Kane, convincing win there for quite a while in that game. Nicely executed.
Nice game.
Good defense.
Indeed. Just game 1 there of that best of 3. And of course, we'll be looking to jump into the next map immediately here. But a big risk there from Bly to open up with such a build. And it was deflected. But there could have been chances if Kane had opened up, for example, Hatchery Extractor to get some gas, then Spawning Pool. Could have been a different story, but his opening did help him out. He didn't take unnecessary gas income when he didn't need gas to defend it, so it was all set up quite nicely for him. A little bit rough on the defense initially, but it was enough to deflect his opponent.
Yeah, certainly so. And on a map like Frost, it can, in ZVZ, it can be a little bit easy to get very economically focused in your mind, and you know, maybe take a gas and take even Hatchery first.
That's the risk that Bly went for, because you know, sometimes you do get quite an easy victory there, but Kane didn't try greedy early on to try to get a strong economy. Set up okay.
And Bly, for the longest time, he's been one of the players that I want to say in the European scene, he doesn't really conform to normality in any matchup, really. So I think, you know, Kane, having been on the European ladder for quite a bit now, is probably used to the idea that Bly's not the most conventional of players, and that's why he opens up a bit more safely. Yeah,
Bly definitely has his own unique style. I remember he used to be going 2-base Hydralisk a lot of the time in Zerg vs Protoss, which is very unique, and not something we'd see too often. And of course, likes to just play his own game, very aggressive. Very unique. What is he going to bring to the table going into this next map? Because he has to win this, of course. If he doesn't, he finishes very early on in this Interstellar Masters Cologne qualifier in the round of 32. If this is the round of 32, I think it is. And we would be moving on to the round of 16, getting close to the top 4, because 4 spots are available from this qualifier, which lead in to tomorrow's main Stage 2 qualifier. Of course, this is Stage 1 going into Stage 2 tomorrow. This is basically the qualifier for the main qualifier tomorrow. And we're about to get underway. I just need to join off you. Sorry, a little bit slow here because I'm talking.
That's okay. All right, well, Polar Night is our second map. And for me in ZVZ, there are two main things that happen here. Aside from the earlier shenanigans, I'm talking more about the mid-game here. One, it can be fantastic for mutalist play, just with the amount of angles that you have on both the main and natural. But also, because of that, I have seen a lot of, like, big, quick transitions from the early to mid-game where you're just like roaches, and trying to bust before even that can even occur.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 big things. Anything else that you can really springs to mind here for Polar Night for you?
Not really. I mean, Zerg versus Zerg, to be honest, the sizes of the maps kind of help some players to decide against the norm with these earlier pools. But overall, in Zerg versus Zerg, I think it plays out rather similar on all maps.
Yeah.
I really don't think that maps make a massive difference in this matchup, apart from, as mentioned, sometimes the earlier choices.
All right, well, let's jump into game number 2. Kane currently leads 1-0 over Acer Bly. And we do have the Acer representative up to the north. He is indeed Bly. And down to the south, we have My Insanity's Kane.
Okie doke. What is going to happen here between these 2 players? I think now that Bly, especially Bly being, as mentioned earlier, he's quite experienced when it comes to these tournaments and these qualifiers. I don't think he'd risk it for a biscuit in the second game. I don't think he'd try to do something risky again.
Yeah.
But then again, it is Bly, so he's already up to 10 supply. If he doesn't build an Overlord here, then, well, I think we know where we're going with this.
Oh.
Okay, I was going to say.
That was getting close. Risk it for a biscuit, man. I've never heard this.
No?
It's brilliant, though. Thank you very much. I'm going to use it every day.
Do you want that biscuit or not?
I like biscuits. Although if Americans are tuning in, look, right, biscuits, they're not what you think they are, okay? Biscuits are cookies. At least, yeah, they are cookies, right, to them?
I think so. I don't know. What are cookies then?
Well, we don't have cookies, right? Although the Americanisms have carried over quite strongly into England as of late.
Well, what in England then? What is a chocolate chip cookie if it's not a cookie? It's not a biscuit.
Yeah, to be fair, in England, I would never say a chocolate chip biscuit. That's just weird. So you would always say chocolate chip cookie. Damn it. Okay, maybe I've proved myself wrong completely.
I don't know. I was just thinking, because I usually, when I go for a coffee or something in England, I usually get a cookie with it.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, what other word would it be?
Maybe yeah, no, you're right. Damn it. Cheers, Sean.
Sorry.
All right.
I don't know. I was intrigued. I thought there was some word I didn't know, actually, more so than
Oh, well.
thinking something else.
Hey, Bly, he's going to go for his hatchery, so no craziness from him.
Yeah, just a regular opening from him, like 15 spawning pool, 15 hatchery.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, it was Kane that took the greedier build. I think he kind of played the mind game quite well in this sense. As described early on, I didn't think Bly would do something to risk it for that biscuit or risk it for that cookie early on to try to do something aggressive again. And I think Kane was like, yeah, you probably won't either. And so he decided to go hatchery first, then extractor, then spawning pool, which is a rather late spawning pool here. In Zerg vs. Zerg, this is the latest spawning pool you can get. You never go 3 hatchery before, of course, because you just instantly die. It's way, way, way too greedy. But this is a good setup for him. He's going to have, of course, Zergling speed nice and early. He can have an aggressive setup much earlier than Bly can. It's just a generally better build.
Yeah, and Bly, seeing that it was indeed that hatchery down and planted quite quickly with his Overlord, means that he can very, very comfortably poke him with his Overlord and see that there was that gas down, etc. Meanwhile, Kane got the opportunity to as well with his Overlord, but had to shoo out of there a bit quicker because the spawning pool was first, and we will be out quicker.
Both players know exactly where they are in this game. When it comes to the openings that they've chosen, Kane knows he's ahead. Bly knows that he's a little bit behind in this game. Of course, this is all going to change very, very shortly because at this level, an advantage or disadvantage is very small. I mean, if you build 4 lings and the other guy builds a couple of drones and those 4 lings don't do anything, maybe the advantage swings already. But what we're seeing from Kane, he is going to use the faster gas income with his faster zergling speed to throw into a Baneling Nest, and most likely from this position is going to be aggressive. I'd be surprised if he wasn't aggressive from this standpoint. Bly, on the other hand, has not chosen to go for his Baneling Nest yet, which is kind of a little bit dangerous for him.
Yeah.
You cannot really fight Zerglings and Banelings with just Zerglings unless you have a few Spines and Queens extra than you would do normally. He's chosen to go straight for Lair. And as we can see, Kane's decided to go 22 Zerglings, and Bly is going to find it very, very difficult to hold on against the Canadian.
Yeah, he certainly is. This Queen does try and shoo away these 2 Zerglings.
Well, the
Zerglings not going to happen. They will see it.
They're going to get quite fast information. He sees it. And now is the time where I panic. I actually go, oh, damn.
Damn is the word.
He cancels something. I don't know what it was, but he did. And now he's trying to build a wall. He knows he's in trouble. And to be honest, I think he might be dead.
He may be. There's another evolution shot. Oh,
yeah,
just a second before.
He can kill that before
exactly.
it finishes, and he's going to have to create the Great Wall of Evos.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen here.
It's going to be very, very difficult. Breaks on through, gets on to 1 Queen. Actually, a few Lings already died to 1 Baneling. This is a very, very well executed build here by Kane.
But it's not a massive attack from Kane. It's only those 22 Zerglings.
Yeah.
He's only gaining a lead and then droning up himself behind it. So, yes, Bly probably would have been dead if they had continued on because there isn't any Banelings or anything to defend. But he's actually getting a layer himself, taking up himself, and just taking a lead, not taking the win.
Yeah, it's very, very strong play here by Kane to just kind of seal yourself a win if you're able to do some damage with these. And the Lings have done damage. They forced a lot of Lings. They killed a few workers. They killed the Queens, which is a big, big thing here in ZVZ. Not having 2 Queens against your opponent's actual 2 themselves, so much more production.
And Kane is guaranteeing his lead by building 2 additional Banelings and a couple of extra Zerglings to make sure any form of counterattack isn't possible here from Bly. And throughout this little attack into that defense that Bly tried to set up, there's a 5 worker difference, a Queen and Lava advantage in favor of Kane, and a tech advantage in favor of Kane. He's put himself in a great position.
And Bly has no clue about the layer, he doesn't know about the Spire. The Lings are going to try and break through again here. Bly is scrambling for this defense and does have enough Zerglings out to probably hold on, but then has no proper transitionary method.
But those weren't drones that he was trying to build to catch back up to Kane. They were Zerglings. Now the drone difference is even larger than it was before.
This is really tough here for Bly. Bly, as you mentioned, with the 2 Zerglings, had a good read on those Lings. I was curious as to whether Kane was going to try and push this Overlord away with the Queen before those Zerglings were going to head out for him. But, I mean, by the time those Lings got in anyway, it was fine. He's just looking to take his 3rd base.
And the difference between these 2 players now, well, the first thing that's the most similar between them both, they are going for the same tech choice. They're both going for Mutalisk here. They've both chosen the Spire. But when you're both playing the same unit type, and a player is going to clearly have an advantage when it comes to the count and the speed that the Mutalisks come out, you're going to have a hard time.
Oh, yeah.
And Bly's going to have to pull some magic roundabout moves with Zerglings, you know, run-bys, snipes of hatchery, snipes of queens. It's going to be very, very difficult for him to play this game.
Especially since, once again, his wall might get broken here. And, he's just having to commit so much of that minerals that he would want to use to that transition, as you might mention before, to the Lings, which he doesn't want to be doing right now, because the Queens are already on, the Mutalisks are already on the way for Kane.
Yeah, and Kane's ramping up the pressure, because usually at this point, you don't need to build drones, right?
Exactly.
Why? You've saturated, you've fully saturated 2 bases. Your 3rd isn't ready. So you just use that lava to build units for the time being. And he's using those units to be aggressive and put the pressure onto his opponent. He'll start drone production now because his hatchery's close to finishing. So he can actually get the drones over there as the hatchery finishes and mine from it as the hatchery finishes. It's perfectly well timed. And throughout this, he's got map control because he has a high unit count. He's going to start sniping overlords. He's going to prevent his opponent from taking a 3rd base. But Bly is doing as mentioned. Cheeky little run-bys and snipes are things that can get back him into this game. And killing this hatchery or forcing a cancel is exactly what he needs.
There's a lot of Lings. Exactly, there's a lot of Lings and Mutalisks to try and shut that down. I think he will be able to clean it up. So very, very nice defense here by Kane. And Bly right now is supply blocked. He was trying to take a 3rd base with a drone, but he just doesn't have the money to do everything that he really wants to. Another 9 Mutalisks on the way for Kane.
And this is where you probably, as Kane, just leave quite a few Zerglings and Banelings around that 3rd. But also, you've got to be wary of the Mutalisks. The hatchery
yeah.
is low already. And with the Mutalisk that he has out, it's not going to be just Zerglings. The threat is the Mutalisk as well.
Absolutely needs to get that hatchery if he wants to stay in this game. And the Lings, as well as the Mutalisk, is just going to push Bly away. And now his army supply is dwindling in number in comparison to Kane.
Any head-on fight now, Kane wins. I mean, he was going to win anyway. It's so simple because he has the high Mutalisk count by 7. And 7's a lot.
And he even finds the third base. These Zerglings, will they be able to deny it in time? Doesn't look like it. So, but he still does quite a bit of damage to leave it more vulnerable later on.
And if you look at this right now, look at the income tab between both of them. There's a 350 gas difference between the both, which means for every minute that ticks by on the clock in the bottom left, that's an extra 3 Mutalisks, basically. 3.5 that Kane gains. So the longer the game goes on, that's 3.5, that's 7, 10.5, 14 Mutalisks in the next couple of minutes. Gonna be the difference between them. Bly has to do something soon, otherwise it's just way gonna get out of control. And to be honest, it really is already out of control, and I'm not really sure how he can find a way to get back in.
Yeah, and, well, there was no windows in terms of the upgrades there. Both of them also start their +1 weapons at the same time, just as those carapaces finish up. But it's, as you said, it's all about the numbers here. As Kane, he's just sharking around. He's playing it patiently once again, not really taking any crazy engagements. But if he wants to, I mean, he can just fly over here with the Mutalisks, deny the third base quite happily. He even has a lead in the Lings and Banelings as well.
Yeah, lead in every aspect of this, and you can see the supply difference between the both of them. Bly a little bit supply blocked, even more supply blocked now with the overlords going down left and right. And Kane can turn around and fight this too. I think he's got more Mutalisks there than his opponent. It looks kind of close from a distance, but overall he's picking off the third on the right-hand side. So it's not looking good for Bly, is it?
Certainly not. I mean, the Mutalisk counts are actually very even in this location specifically. But, I mean, the Lings, they're the ones that are really causing havoc right now. And, I mean, there's nothing that Bly has to contest this at all.
And with the reinforcements coming in, which are always going to come in much faster here for Kane, he's going to take out the Mutalisk in the sky, which is where they are.
There you go, GG. Kane is able to take the series 2-0. That was another brilliant Apolloism there. Thank you very much for that.
I'm really good at those.
And that means Kane moves on, guys. Good stuff.
Good games from Kane. Really deflecting Bly's style quite well in game number 1 and just really destroying him game number 2 as well. Fantastic games from the Canadian, and for the first time, outside of zone streams and stuff in the international scene, well, the European scene, should I say, in Touchstream Masters, DreamHack, hopefully future Home Story Cups.
Yeah.
We get to see him do well.
That would be nice indeed. So he moves on. Let's take a quick look at the bracket if we can. Actually, we can bring that up on screen as well, just to give you a little bit of an update as to what's going on. As you can see, up in the round of 32, Protosser has advanced on over Slivko. It is now going to be playing Zazu. Let's have a look. Weak is Verdi, and changed his name a while ago. And every time I ask him, is that you, Verdi? He's like, who is Verdi? But it's actually Verdi, so don't believe the hype. And then Zoka, who recently left ATN, is going to be playing him. That's a really good PvP, actually, because Verdi, or Weak's PvP, is pretty good at the moment. Let's have a look. What else? Jackji is playing against Chubbs. What else do we have going on? Zerg Pal. Patience has already advanced over Pommy, who was actually able to take out Showtime. So good show there by Pommy, but Patience advances on. Any other results? Not a whole lot right now. Paranoid and Tefel have to play one another. That's a little bit unfortunate for our Polish players having to meet in the round of 32. But not too much else. Not too much else going on at the moment.
Okay.